Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for Below Grade Level. Tell your parents you're going to a sleepover.
Hello and welcome to Below Grade Level, the show where we take the books that we read as kids and read them as adults and ruin them. I'm one of your hosts, Jonathan Eaton. With me as always is Bekah Eaton.
Hello.
And Chris Zaleski.
Hello.
How's it going?
Excellent.
Cool.
So it goes.
Good. Sounds great. It's March 2025. It's Captain's date. Star date. Captain's log.
You're the one that would know.
I would know what?
Star Trek stuff.
Oh, that's true. Well, no, I think Chris is the one that would know.
Oh, that's true.
Yep.
Chris is a way bigger
Chris, you just let him
Trekkie.
flounder. You didn't jump in and help.
I mean, I was just watching how good he was at podcasting.
Chris just wants to listen to me flail.
It's Captain's log, stardate, blah, 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 blah.
Thank you. Captain's log, stardate, March 2025. The world burns. Anyway, let's read some children's books. Special guest on this episode of Below Grade Level. First time...
Champion.
I was like, listener? Nope. First time guest, though. Zack Fowler. Hi.
Hey, bud. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Happy to be here.
For everyone who wasn't watching, Zack held up 2 fingers in the peace symbol when I said his name.
Or it
Good
could have been the
clarification.
British
It's an
version.
audio format, Zack.
Well, British is British
Oh,
version
yeah,
is this
that's true.
version.
Yeah.
Yes, but no, peace.
Zack, how's it going?
It's going pretty awful, you know?
Yeah.
Let's just be honest, not to go on one of my tangents, but we can get to that later. Always.
Yeah.
But you know me. I'm always down to spiral because life is politics.
I'm always down to spiral.
I love that.
That should be on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I had asked somebody recently at work before I was fired by Elon Musk how they were doing, and they said, I won't complain. And I was like, ha, that's a good spin on that one.
Yeah.
I won't complain.
Yeah. I
Because
can,
because
but I
can't.
won't.
Yeah. Zack, what was your favorite, you're brand new to the podcast, what was your favorite book to read growing up?
Probably split between like 2 copies of Goosebumps that I kept reading, say Cheese and Die, which I don't remember, and
That was a pretty good one, though.
Yeah.
the one that I do remember is Camp Jelly Jam.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Love the name.
For some reason I remember that, and I was really into like Magic Treehouse.
I don't know Magic Treehouse.
Write that
Yeah. These kids have this like
A Magic Treehouse?
basically Magic Treehouse that like sends them through time and they solve things.
What?
And,
I am into it.
yeah.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Magic Treehouse. I could be lying, but that's what I believe it's what it's called. Harry Potter books. And then just like a bunch of like history, mythology, you know.
As you do.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
like good stuff. Like,
okay.
Yeah. If you read the Odyssey as a kid, congratulations. But Goosebumps is where
Yeah,
our
I
heads are.
hadn't
at.
heard of that second one you mentioned, the camp one.
Camp
Okay,
Jelly
I've
I've
Jam.
never
Jam.
heard of that one.
Yeah.
think I have it.
Okay.
It's these 2 kids that they and their parents are going on vacation or coming back from. The kids, for some reason, are in the trailer and not the car. The trailer breaks off
Sounds
and
dangerous.
rumbles and tumbles, and it stops, and the kids get out, and they come across this sort of summer camp. And it kind of then, you know, they stay and they're brought on, and if you win, you know, I don't remember, like if you win like a certain tournament or you do this sort of thing, you get like these tokens, and if you get like 5 or 6 of these tokens, you get to go to like this special place. What is this special place?
That
so-
sounds incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's-
do
so-
think
so-
I have it. I remember the cover.
It's the guy who's just like,
Yeah, it's this guy with like a big face, and he's like has his hands on his hips. He's like,
yes. I highly recommend.
That's the only thing I remember
If
is
you
the
guys,
cover.
if you guys do a reading of that,
Yeah.
please invite me.
100%. If we do Jelly Jam, or if we do Magic Treehouse, you're coming back. Because anytime someone recommends something, we like to have them on to read that book.
Yeah.
Yeah, Magic Treehouse is an American children's series written by Mary Pope Osborne. So
was born. Okay. Well, good, because we are constantly trying to expand our horizons. Speaking of expanding our horizons, shh, Chris, shut up. This book, Fearless, that we're reading, was recommended by Bekah, and we just started reading it in the last episode. I'm assuming, Zach, that you never read any like Sweet Valley High, Francine Pascal books. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no, sorry, can't say I have.
No, don't apologize. I think you're in for a treat.
Good.
Well, this was written by Francine Pascal
Yeah.
of Sweet Valley High fame.
Yes.
It doesn't really feel anything like a Sweet Valley book I've ever read, even though those are crazy in their own right.
Yeah,
This one feels very different.
this is super different.
And I feel like, I can't remember if I said this last time. I don't think so, because the thought is only just coming to me. The way the book is written, there's like fun fonts and like crazy chapter titles and like a little snippet of like some dialogue from the next chapter.
Yeah.
Like at the start of the chapter. It makes me think of like how action movies from the 90s were cut together.
Yeah, it's very
I
like
just
kind
feel
of
like there's
Guy
a lot of crash
Ritchie.
zooms and like
Yeah.
fast cuts and stuff.
Yeah,
She wrote this to be adapted.
yeah.
Yeah, and they made a pilot, which I looked up last time but didn't write any notes about.
Oh, I remember.
They made an unaired pilot.
because
that
it
someone
was
was in.
starring Rachel Lee Cook.
Yes.
which was a perfect casting.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so Bekah, tell us what happened last time on Fearless.
Okay. Last time on Fearless. It was Gaia's first day at her new school in New York. Gaia is a teenager who was born without the fear gene, so she can't feel fear. Also, her father was in the CIA and taught her how to fight, so she can't feel fear, and she's good at fighting.
That sounds like what you would say to like a classmate in the grade school. Like, well, my dad was in the CIA. And
Yeah.
you kick your dad's ass.
I thought you were gonna say
He
that.
taught me karate!
Yeah, that sounds like what you would say just in elementary school and generally like, I can't
Yeah.
feel fear, and I know how to fight.
Do you dare me to climb to the top of the slide?
Yeah.
So she lives in New York with roommates George and Ella, and George is a former CIA coworker of her father's.
Yes.
Her father's name is Tom, and I think he's away on some CIA type assignment and was like, I don't know, I guess they're not really in contact. He writes her a letter but then doesn't mail it. Her mother is not in the picture, but it's not said why.
She died of fear.
She had too much fear.
She died of fright.
Oh, Jesus.
Holy shit. Oh.
So Gaia's basically a vigilante. She kind of gets this guy to, not like she gets him to, but you know, this guy starts following her in the park.
She kind
so
of baits that dude.
She
into-
kind of baits him,
Yeah.
but like it's not her fucking fault. He was gonna.
No, he's gonna
try to
mug
mug
somebody
her.
that night.
So she just like kicks his ass. Let's see. There's chess misfits. She's friends with people that play chess. I feel like there's a really old
There's,
guy
like-
and a really young guy.
There's a
I don't remember any of
super
their
old
names.
guy. There's like a young, was it like a Russian kid maybe?
I
It's
don't
very
remember.
colorful.
I'll take better notes this time. There was
Like
so much fucking happening last time.
Misfits like ne'er-do-wells, or
No, just like goofballs.
Yeah,
gotcha.
you know
I
the chess
guess.
goofballs that hang out in Central Park and play
Yeah.
chess
yeah.
with all their rich backstories.
And I don't remember who it was, but there was a guy at the chess park we thought she had a crush on.
Ah,
And then we get another scene of some guy named Marco who is hanging around a fountain and hitting on a redheaded lady that we thought was maybe Gaia in disguise.
I think it was her in a wig. Yeah.
And someone drew a swastika at the chess park,
Yeah.
and we think it was Marco.
I am so ready for her to beat the shit out of some neo-Nazis.
Yes.
Like, incredibly ready for that to
I'm
happen.
here for it.
I am super here for it. All right, well, let's not waste any time, and let's just dive right into reading some more Fearless by Francine Pascal. As I share my screen, this is one of those weird little tidbits. Tidbits?
Tidbit? It's a tidbit.
It's a tidbit.
Tidbit.
Mr. Valiant. It's all undercase. I don't know. This
It's
book is
cool.
weird. This book is crazy. I love
Just
it.
picture the words like sliding
Like,
in and like, yeah.
Mr. Valiant. She spun around, instantly accosted by strange, blurred images, a flash of chrome, 2 large wheels. And then it's like, back up.
Yeah.
Record
She got
scratch.
hit by a car.
Oh.
A force for good. These chapters don't have numbers, which is disorienting for us, but that's fine. A force for good. 3 more steps. Okay. 5 more steps. Okay. 10 more. Just to the maple trees. Okay. Not that one. The one behind it. I fucking love the way this book is written.
I already feel like I'm going crazy.
I didn't add anything. That's just how it's written. She was a little nuts. She knew it. She knew it. Skulking around Washington Square Park for 3 hours and 23 minutes. Skulking is capitalized. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Ow.
why is that capitalized?
I didn't know what the
Yeah.
problem was because I can't see it.
The problem is,
Skulking
she
is
knew it,
capitalized.
capital skulking, around Washington Square Park for 3 hours and 23 minutes, counting steps and, seconds, looking for trouble. She's just fucking teenage girl Batman. It could be called entrapment. There's
what
no
the book
period.
said?
What is going on with this book? Someone did not
I
copy
don't
edit
know.
this
I
very
think
well.
I don't know. Maybe
It's
this
one
stands for
really long beat poem.
Yeah. That's exactly what she wanted to do. Entrap those lowlifes. Yes, fucking Gaia, do
Maybe
it.
the capitalized letters spell something, you know. Maybe there's
Ooh,
there's
it's a
like a
code.
hidden layer.
Ooh, ST.
Yeah, you know.
Gaia lingered under the tree, feeling drops of sweat sliding down her spine. Wasn't New York City supposed to be getting cool in September? Not with global warming. The smell of late-season pollen was so thick, it felt like paste in her nostrils. Gross. Please, somebody. Anybody. She'd come here with the secret hope that one of the notorious slashers would have a go at her. But now she'd grown desperate. She would take absolutely any criminal, from petty shoplifters to axe murderer.
Wow.
She really wasn't choosy. Hey,
This
who
is a
even
kid's
needed a
book.
criminal? Yeah, right? Okay. Zach, you're picking up on a thread that we have with every single book we read, which is, this is for children?
I think this was for high schoolers, but still.
Yeah. Hey, who even needed a criminal? She was ready to pounce on the strength of a big mouth or a bad attitude. But she wouldn't. Gaia would never attack anybody unprovoked. She would never do more harm than necessary. Gotta have a code. That was the code! Fuck! I gotta stop
book doesn't
ad-libbing.
need us.
I know. It really doesn't. That was the code, and as much as she hated her father, she was still bound to honor it. It was bred into her, just like her blue eyes that seemed to change shade with her mood, the weather, the color of her shirt.
Now J.
So her eyes are hazel. they're not
STJ.
blue. That's how
just,
hazel eyes work.
just like her love of sweets. She had to use her miraculous gift, that's what her father always called it, as a force for good. Her mission was to draw out violent behavior and squash it, not to produce more violence.
She
So
got dextered.
So how do you draw out violent behavior without producing more violence?
You walk around as a woman. Oh, shit. But sometimes carrying out her mission felt more self-indulgent than honorable. Did it count as a good deed if you enjoyed yourself? She liked to think she thrived on self-defense, but there were times, really upsetting times, when she saw the line between defense and offense as clear as day and barreled toward it. She's just, like, out of control.
Yeah.
Now when we do the dad's voice, we have to either do James Remar or Christian Slater.
Okay, what the fuck does James Remar sound like?
Look, Dexter, you need to have a code.
Okay, I never watched Dexter.
If you ever do, stop at after season 4.
Who was the other guy you said?
Christian Slater, he plays a young version of him in the new prequel series.
Oh my god.
He was good in the Heathers.
I'm just gonna do Jack Nicholson.
I liked him
Yeah.
in Heathers.
Heathers.
I can't do Christian Slater without just doing Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Greetings and salutations.
That's a great Jack Nicholson.
Hey, she had an extraordinary talent and she wanted to use it. What if one day she crossed that line that separated good guys from bad guys? It would be easy. There was only a hair's width between them. Why hadn't anyone warned her that inside the crucible of real anger, good and bad were So nearly the same. 8 people highlighted that beautiful sentence.
Yeah, I was about to say, what is that?
Because
It's a
they
little
really liked the
highlight.
Crucible
Oh, that is
of
cool.
Anger.
Yeah.
Crucible of Anger was my elementary school metal band.
Elementary school. Worse yet, what if one day she'd stop being able to see the line at all? She wouldn't know anymore if she was good or bad or crazy or sane. Maybe Gaia didn't know the meaning of scary, but that sounded an awful lot like it. Gaia made a slow loop around the maple tree. She had to get out of this park, but she really didn't feel like going back to George and Ella's. God forbid George would put on that earnest face and try to talk about her loss, as he often did after Ella complained about her.
What?
She didn't, I assume, feel like walking on Broadway. It says fed. The street...
Did the book get worse
I don't know.
since the last time you read it?
The street was mobbed with NYU students, tourists, and shoppers at every hour of the day. Instead, she turned south on Mercer Street. She loved the deserted, canyon-like feel of the narrow street and the sound her steps made on the cobblestones. She'd walk straight down to Houston Street and see what was playing at the Angelica. Suddenly, as if in answer to a prayer, Gaia heard voices behind her. She stopped and fumbled through her backpack as if she were looking for something. Geez, what a girl had to do to get mugged in the city. What a girl had to do to get mugged in this city.
Had to do.
The voices turned into whispers, and then she heard footsteps slow. Oh yes, finally. She turned toward the noise, pasting what she hoped looked like a terrified expression on her face. Inside her heart was leaping with anticipation. There were 3 of them, and they looked young, around 16 or 17. 2 of them had shaved heads. Oh, fuck them up, guys.
Yes!
All right.
How
The
old is
smallest,
Gaia?
brandished of razor blade.
Let's say
Gaia.
17 or 18.
Gaia detected more than a hint of nervousness under his swagger. She backed up, fearfully she hoped, wanting the situation to escalate. She hated herself, but there it was. The little thug was up front, covering the ground between them with a menacing lurch. The other 2 were hanging back, present to witness this feat of loyalty. It was becoming obvious to Gaia what was up here, and it pissed her off. "Come on, boys," she silently encouraged them. "Come and get me." Her mind hovered on the swastika she'd seen painted on the ground in the park. That, coupled with the shaved heads and the leather jackets, gave her the strong suspicion that these assholes were some kind of neo-Nazi white supremacist outfit. And because she was a teenager, she called things outfits. Her concentration was so keen, she had to remind herself
She's
to
a
keep
teenager
breathing.
with CIA training.
She couldn't let her anger get the best of her. She had to play this just right. If she struck back too quickly, she might scare her prey away.
Jesus Christ.
The kid was trying hard to look tough, but his toughness went about as deep as the sheen of sweat on his upper lip. Now. He was right on her, razor blade lifted. She screamed helplessly as she drew back her arm for a sharp blow to his wrist, and just as she balanced her weight to deliver the strike, she heard a thunderous shout and a commotion behind her. Suddenly, noise was coming from every direction. Her adrenaline was rising fast, but her focus was thrown. She spun around, instantly accosted by strange, blurred images. A flash of chrome, 2 large wheels. She jumped back to try to make sense of it. Hey, that was the little snippet
That
before.
was the snippet. That was the tidbit.
Nice little preview. Nice little preview.
Get away from her! A familiar voice shouted. Gaia's razor blade wielding
Was that
attacker
Crispin
fell.
Glover?
Yeah. Gaia's razor blade wielding attacker fell back
Hey,
in confusion. Equally confused, Gaia swiveled her head.
Oh my god.
All right, Zach, have fun with it.
It's okay, Gaia. Go, run. She watched in perfect amazement as Ed, the guy in the wheelchair from school,
What? Oh,
We
rolled
meet
into
him?
the
yeah, I
fray.
forgot about him.
Oh.
Her very own knight in shining armor come to save the day. You've got to be joking, she muttered under her breath. But no.
Was the flash of chrome and wheels his wheelchair?
Yes.
Yeah, the 2 wheels.
I thought it was a car.
I know.
thought it was a bike. I thought like someone was doing like some
Oh.
cool like
Yeah, I thought it was
like-
a motorcycle.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah.
this guy just.
No, it's just a guy in a wheelchair doing wheels.
But no, there
Barreling
he
through
was,
people.
Yeah.
Mr. Valiant.
Which is amazing.
Now
Hey,
what was
Mr.
she?
Valiant?
Now what was she supposed to do? She couldn't just burst into action with Ed sitting on the sidelines. He'd seen everything. He'd know far more than he was allowed. It was one thing showing an attacker her tricks. Every time she did this, she made a wager that her attacker wouldn't confess to being pounded by a girl. And she never been wrong. But Ed was a different story. Ed would tell the nifty adventure, very nifty, to everybody in school. Gee, y'all, you seen this keen thing? They'd probably No. Well,
Oh,
nifty,
God, okay.
Just
nifty,
the way
nifty.
she talks.
Oh yeah.
Nifty outfit.
This
It's
ragtag outfit.
It's just very like 1950s CIA.
Yeah.
They'd probably recruit her for their judo club or something. The adrenaline was surging through her veins, and the primary person she wanted to strangle was Ed. The three attackers had been surprised by Ed's arrival, but they were now regrouping. Okay, fine. She'd take a couple of hits. She wouldn't let the razor blade near her, but that would be easy enough to dispose of in a stealthy way. They'd hit her, she'd scream, somebody would hear the noise and call the cops. The three losers would feel manly, and dangerous and go away. The little one would earn his initiation on somebody else. It was disappointing as hell, but she'd deal.
Oh my God. Gaia.
She doesn't lack the fear gene. She's just a sociopath.
just
Yeah.
slightly.
She's bloodthirsty.
She really
Well,
is.
okay, so psychopath.
All right.
Like Dexter.
New chapter. What? Stop talking about Dexter.
Like Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, unless it's Dexter's Lab.
Oh.
One small problem. Ed Fargo.
Ed Fargo? Come on.
That's Edward Fargo.
Edward Fargo.
That's his dad.
My dad is. Please call me Fargo. Ed Fargo pushed his wheels as fast as he could. He sailed over the curb and bumped along the cobblestones. He'd often dreamed of running over somebody with his wheelchair, but he'd never actually done it before.
Also a sociopath.
Yeah. His lungs ached for air, and his arms ached with exertion as he plowed through the low bushes and into the guy with the razor blade. What bushes? You're in New York.
I know. I thought they were in a narrow street.
Yeah. Thank God he'd been coming along Mercer just then. Thank God he'd heard the scream. He heard the powerful meeting of metal and shin bone. Ah! The attacker fell backward. Gaia, get out of here! Ed shouted again. I don't know what voice I'm doing for him.
You have to do Crispin Glover.
Oh, right. Gaia, get out of here! Ed shouted again. He'd never felt quite so important in his life. Oh, Ed. She looked stunned. Why the hell wouldn't she get her ass out of there? Was she paralyzed with fear? Ed, you only knew how wrong you were! So traumatized, she couldn't move a muscle. Thank God he'd arrived when he had. Stop thanking God. Please, go, he commanded. The guy with the razor blade fumbled back up to his feet, and his two accomplices came closer in for backup. Really though, what's his plan? You're in a wheelchair.
There's no plan.
You're just barreling into
Smash
a group
their
of
shins
Nazis.
and scare them away.
Yeah, but
Just-
what happens?
Just
Oh, they
straight
sound like
chivalry, man.
ladies.
Just straight chivalry. Just
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah,
Attack.
attack.
Yeah.
Ed realized he didn't have much time. Panic was taking hold of his chest. He looked at Gaia's frozen form. He looked at the three hoods gathering for an attack. Oh man. This time their vicious eyes weren't focused on Gaia. They were aiming directly at him. Oh. His brain was spinning. Ugh, it hurt. His heart was pounding at least 500 times a minute. Ow, my heart. The obvious thing to do was to get out of there as fast as his arms would carry him, but he couldn't. He couldn't just leave Gaia standing there. She'd be slaughtered. What is wrong with you? Ed bellowed at her. Get the hell out of here, now! Three big, angry thugs were closing in, and that stupid girl wouldn't move. Panic was now weirdly tinged with resignation.
Okay. He was dead. If they wanted to kill him, that is, maybe they'd be satisfied just mangling him or slashing him to ribbons. The biggest of the three took hold of the armrest of his wheelchair and gave it a powerful shove. Ed collided hard with the street and rolled from the toppled chair. This was sad.
Oh.
It sure would have been handy if his legs worked right now. He looked up at the stripe of night sky between the old cast iron buildings, waiting for the first blow. He put his arms over his face for protection. Slam! He heard the sound of a foot connecting with hard flesh, and then a deep moan.
Hey, hang on. What's hard flesh?
I would say a shin. We've already done shin.
Oh,
Shin's pretty
okay.
hard.
Hard flesh.
Flesh,
so like
I guess.
Chin, like forehead.
Shoulder, forehead.
Something that's close. The
Sternum.
bone is close to
Yeah.
the.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a head.
Foot connecting with a head. Was that him? Had he made that noise? He heard another searing blow. Jesus, was he so far gone he couldn't even feel the pain? He moved an arm away from his face and cracked open one eye. He heard a groan and then a barking shout. Strange. He was pretty sure his mouth was shut. He opened the other eye and sat up. Then he shut both eyes again, in case you lost track of what his eyes were doing. Now they're shut.
He's having a full-blown panic attack.
Yes, he is. Had he gone into cardiac arrest and died already? God, that was quick. Weren't there supposed to be a lot of warm feelings and long tunnels and a bright light?
No.
He's literally...
His death is so boring to him.
He's Adam Scott in that Parks and Rec
Yes.
episode where he's just like, I'm dying.
Am I dead?
Am I dead?
He simply could not have seen what he thought he saw. He was dead, or hallucinating. Maybe that was it. His mind was dealing him some truly mind-bending hallucinations. Awesome ones, as it happened. He opened his eyes again. His mouth dropped open. 3 people highlighted like the next entire paragraph.
Ooh.
Gaia Moore, the lovely girl with the slim frame and sullen expression who haunted the back of his physics class, had suddenly transformed into Xena warrior princess.
Good show.
Only blonde and even more beautiful. She crushed the jaw of
Then
Thug.
Lucy Lawless?
I was about to say, like, please.
Like, hang on a
Please.
second, though. Have you seen her?
She crushed the jaw of Thug 1 with a roundhouse kick. She struck Thug 2 in the chest with such violence he was left gasping for breath. Thug 3 came swinging at her from behind, and she spun around and neutralized him with a stunning kickboxing move he'd only ever seen executed by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
She's an anime
Awesome.
character. She's an anime character at this point.
She is.
Like this is definitely like just an anime plot at this.
Holy shit. Could this actually be real? Gaia's dauntless, intense, angry face looked real. The thonk of her sneakered foot in Thug 1's belly sounded real. Unbelievable. Gaia was a superhero. Hair flying, limbs whirling. She was the most graceful, powerful martial artist he had ever laid eyes on. Her every move was a mesmerizing combination of ballet and kung fu. And not only was she magical, she was lethal. Thug 1 was writhing on the ground. Thug 2 was ready to flee. Although Thug 3 appeared to be rallying, Ed almost pitied him. Suddenly, Ed sucked in the moist night air. A chill began in his fingertips and crept up his wrist and arms. He was having a stroke.
Oh, no.
He saw only a
Ed, do you
flash
smell
at first. He saw only a flash at first, and then the image resolved itself. Thug 3 had a knife. Ed saw it clearly now, glinting in the streetlight, looking awfully real.
It's a knife.
Oh my god. Did Gaia see the knife? Did she realize what was coming? He certainly couldn't tell by her expression. Her eyes revealed not even the tiniest hint of fear. Jesus, she was tough. That or paranormally stupid. Gaia! He heard his own voice bellowing. He's got a knife!
I feel like if she got stabbed, she would just be like, son of a bitch! And like just
Yeah.
murder the guy that stabbed her with a knife sticking out of her side.
Or just like pull the knife out and stab him with it.
Her gaze didn't flicker. She stood there motionless as Thug 3 went after her. She looked as if she were in some kind of deep meditation. Ed was hyperventilating. He didn't care how tough Gaia was. She couldn't defend herself against an 8-inch blade. Presumably her skin was made of the same stuff his was.
Solid. Do you have a
that?
tape? Do you have a tape measure?
Yeah, I do.
8 inches.
Like I want to see.
That's really,
about that.
that's too long for a fucking
That's
knife.
like a Bowie. Like I don't know if it's a Bowie knife.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's
thinking.
not a knife.
That's about to say. Yeah, that's a pretty solid knife, man.
Oh no, there's been a murder.
This is how big the knife is. That's like a Bowie knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Zach said when
Oh.
you were off.
Yeah, or like I guess a steak knife too. I guess that'd be
for,
more.
for TikTok. That's how big the knife is.
Yeah, just
The knife.
He supplied his seizing brain with some oxygen, then dragged himself toward his wheelchair. He pulled it upright and set his sights on the slouching back of Thug 3. I'm gonna run over that son of a bitch. Ed's legs might be
Useless.
but his arm strength was formidable.
He launched the chair like a missile. Strike! The chair hit its mark, and Thug 3 staggered forward. Ed
Wait,
briefly...
he threw the chair?
No,
he launched himself in the chair.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Ed briefly registered the look of surprise on Gaia's face as Thug 3 careened into her and sent her sprawling backwards. Bro.
Oh, Ed.
His stomach clenched. Oh, God, that hadn't been
I
his
think he
intention at all.
uprated it and then pushed it.
Oh.
I don't
Is
think
it?
he's in the chair.
Oh, you're right.
Okay. Now the guy retrieved his knife and leaped on top of Gaia. Worse yet, from Thug's 2 cowardly hideout behind a parked car, he saw the tide turn and was racing back to join the fight. Coward. Ed dragged himself towards Gaia as fast as he could, his eyes fixed on her vulnerable throat, as opposed to an invulnerable throat, and the knife hovering over it. What's the voice y'all are using?
Crispin Glover.
From Back to the Future.
See, I'm like, I don't
George
know.
McFly.
Okay. Now I'm like, who's that guy? Yeah, the father, right?
Yeah, the father.
You are my density. That guy.
Stop, he roared. Is that pretty good?
Perfect.
You're gonna hurt her. He felt tears stinging his eyes. It happened so fast, Ed wasn't sure he'd actually seen it. Gaia delivered a powerful kick exactly to the groin of Thug 2 and almost simultaneously struck Thug 3 in the side of the neck with her hand. So like a
Karate chop.
like a super punch.
Kick and a chop.
Kind of. A kick chop.
A kick chop.
Kick chop.
Just like Parappa the Rapper.
Thug 3 rolled over, unconscious. His knife skidded along the stones. Thug 2 pitched to the ground, screaming in pain. Pitched to the ground?
Pitched? Sure.
Sure. Gaia was instantly on her feet. She scooped up the knife and stepped over the prone body of Thug 3. Please, 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 please. Suddenly, well, I don't know, this is children's
Cut a
book, so probably
swastika
not.
into his forehead.
Buried in his chest.
Suddenly Thug, maybe this is where they got the inspiration from.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Thug 1 and Thug 2 seemed to forget their pain and sprinted for safety like jackrabbits in traffic.
Jackrabbits?
Yes.
Is she from Oklahoma?
Again, 1950s CIA op. This is how we talk in America.
Yeah.
Ed was watching Gaia, his heart overflowing with relief and admiration, when she surprised him again. She got to the sidewalk
Karate
and
chop.
No, her legs literally crumbled under her body, and without a noise, she fell in a heap on the pavement. She was deactivated.
Oh yeah, doesn't it like she uses up all her adrenaline and then has to like regain her powers?
Yeah,
basically.
This is 100% an anime. Like this guy needs to power up. She's a Saiyan.
Yeah. New chapter. That old kryptonite.
That old kryptonite.
Gaia.
This book's great.
It's so good. Gaia breathed deeply and waited for it to pass. She wouldn't struggle to move or attempt to get to her feet. She knew by now it wouldn't work. The only thing to do was wait. Pretty much right on schedule, she heard a noisy approach and felt a hand on her shoulder. Arg! Arg! She didn't need to open her eyes to see the worried, eager face. Once he'd reached her, she heard him collapse beside her. Listening to his labored breathing, Gaia's heart was pulled forcefully by 2 equal and opposite desires. Desire number 1, her desire to hug Ed for his valiant, misguided efforts on her behalf.
It's like, you stupid man.
Stupid little man. And desire number 2, her desire to murder him for being such an unbelievable pain in the ass. Are
Ed
you
was
okay?
great.
It's an actual thing that Crispin Glover did say in Back to the Future. Are you
love
okay? He touched her shoulder again. She could hear the fear in his words, just like Crispin Glover in Back to the Future.
When does he say that?
And if you're
It's
wondering
when,
what his
it's
hand
whenever
was
he-
doing.
Yeah, he punched Biff in the face, and then he turns to Lorraine and he's like,
Oh.
"Hey, are you okay?"
Aw.
With a hand out.
He's so sweet.
Let's just watch Back to the Future.
Okay.
She would have really liked to rouse herself right then. It was unthinkable that he should see her in this state of weakness, to see what happened to her after one of these episodes. And yet there was just no way around it, short of killing him, which, though tempting, didn't seem all that sporting under the circumstances.
Not sporting.
Not at all. Gaia? Gaia? His voice was rising with panic. Gaia! She mumbled. Oh, God. Are you hurt? Did they hurt you? A yellow cab cruised past them, slowed for a stop sign, then drove on. New York City, am I right? If anyone in the car saw them, they apparently hadn't felt the need to get involved. Yeah, that was New York City for you. Okay, sorry. I was ahead of the book. Its inhabitants set a high standard for unusual.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah.
The amount of times that I feel like I've been in New York and just there's an absolutely insane person screaming and I'm like, let's just pretend this doesn't happen.
I just kind of looked at everyone else to know if we should be panicking or not. And almost always you shouldn't bother with panicking.
Yeah.
With great effort, she fluttered open her eyes and very slowly by inches shook her head. The sidewalk made a really bad pillow. What's the matter? Should I call for an ambulance? She gritted her teeth. If she'd had any energy left, she would have rolled her eyes. After another pause, she reinforced it with another slight shake of her head. This can't be a normal amount of lack of adrenaline after a fight.
What do you mean? Like,
the way she's, like, dead.
Oh, yeah.
Is not normal.
No.
Even for fighting a lot. She'd be able to fucking speak words.
Like, yeah. I've been in a car accident before where, like, your adrenaline just goes through the roof, and then as soon as it subsides, like, I could say I felt, like, weak in the knees.
Yeah.
There is the crash, but this is, like, again, like, superhuman level. Like, you lose all your energy, and you have to recharge like a robot.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's something weird and different about her, or if it's just dumb.
Maybe she's just never fought 3 Nazis at a time before.
I mean, I think they brought this up before, kind of.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Still, those guys ran away and she fucking kicked their asses.
Yeah, it seems excessive.
It's
anyway. Like, what was that book that we read with the glasses, the magic glasses?
Yeah.
Because remember,
like, Eyes of Kid
Midas. He would use his glasses and then he would, like...
He'd be, like, drained of power.
Yeah. He would, like, collapse.
That book was amazing.
Yeah.
That book was fucking awesome.
Oh, we have to read that other one.
Oh, yeah. Scorpion Shards.
Yes.
Scorpion Shards. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it does.
I can't wait to read it. Another pause. After another pause, she reinforced it with another slight shake of her head. No, are you sure? She wasn't accustomed to anyone seeing her like this, and it was irritating. She found the strength to open her eyes for real and concentrate on Ed's face. It had suddenly become a much more significant face. The face of the guy who knew her secrets. Holy shit, how had she let this happen? It was so ironic. So ironic and pitiful and stupid and weird, she wanted to laugh.
She looked at Ed, she's like, you have value now.
Yeah. You mean something to me now. For some reason, this guy had become her self-appointed guardian angel and nearly gotten her killed in the process. How typical that her guardian angel would be a slightly scruffy ex-skate rat in a wheelchair who caused so much more trouble than good.
Skate rat.
What's an ex-skate rat?
Well,
I assume he hurt himself skating.
Is that why he's in a wheelchair?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it was skating.
He gnarlied too hard, man.
Oh, man.
He ollied one too many times.
Yeah. How strange it was that he suddenly knew more about her than anyone else on planet Earth, except her father, of course. Gaia had been so careful over the years to keep everything secret. It was another of her father's curses. I bet George knows, though.
Oh, he has to.
I'll make you into a freak and not let you tell anyone. Not like she was going to tell anyway. She had no confidant and meant to keep it that way. Besides, the strange facts of her life were all connected. Telling a little would ultimately mean telling a lot. Gaia, please tell me you're okay. It always seemed that when her body sank into this state of paralytic exhaustion, her mind zoomed into overdrive. She summoned the energy to move her lips. I'm fine, she whispered. You don't look so fine.
Rude.
Patience, Ed, she asked of him silently. She felt the energy returning to her muscles. It was tingly at first, as if her whole body had fallen asleep. She groaned a little as she sat up.
Oh God, like
She
full body pins and needles.
She studied Ed. Worried, terrified, astonished, concerned Ed. She couldn't help but smile a little. I'm fine, she said. She paused for breath, except for the fact that I may have to kill you. And then a weird letter format.
And
like
you know it's
an
making that
email.
like dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee
Oh,
sound
yeah.
while the letters like type
Red
on screen.
October.
Yeah, like X-Files.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I'll read it. To L from ELJ, date September 25. File 776244, subject Gaia Moore, last seen Mercer Street, New York City, 10:53 p.m. Update. Subject observed in fight with 3 suspected gang members, 1 armed with knife. Attack complicated by appearance of young man in wheelchair. Motive unclear. Confirmed subject's mastery of jiu-jitsu. Subject displayed other martial skills previously documented. All 3 attackers subdued. Subject appeared injured but later observed to walk from incident unharmed. 2. ELJ from L. Date September 26th. File 776244. Subject Gaia Moore. Directives. Identify and create file on young man in wheelchair. Issue immediate instruction. Subject not to be injured under any circumstances. Repercussions will be severe.
Jesus Christ.
Do we know who L and ELJ are?
No.
Her father's name is Tom.
So these are probably like CIA like spies that are spying on her, keeping tabs.
Yeah.
Something.
I'm
yeah.
just glad I finally got to read the word Mercer because I've been wanting to make that joke for
I didn't get it.
Yeah,
Matt
neither.
Mercer,
Oh.
who always overacts everything.
No, he doesn't. You take that back.
Who?
I know, I love
Matt
it.
Mercer.
I love it.
How dare you?
I love it. I speak it out loud while I play video games. Like, oh, you wish a favor of me?
There
Bless you.
is this other really freakish thing about me. I've never told anyone, and the spacing's weird. I'd be way too humiliated. And then a couple highlights. Humiliation, by the way, is a truly terrible emotion. It's at the bottom of the pile. Much worse than fear, I bet. Since I don't have to have fear, why do I have to have humiliation? If only I could toss it wherever fear went. And while I was at it, I'd get rid of anger, hurt, compassion, betrayal, and selfishness.
Compassion?
Oh, and guilt. Yes, and compassion.
That's a good one, though.
Definitely it hampers your focus as an agent. You can't be compassionate as you're snapping 30 people's
true.
necks. Be like,
Yeah,
"Hey."
I'd be a terrible agent.
It gets in the way of her baiting people into attacking her.
Correct. And guilt. Definitely guilt. It's out of there. Without all of those things, I think I could imagine maybe being happy someday. Hey, that's it. I, Gaia Moore, have discovered the secret to happiness. People have been searching for it since the beginning of time, but it took me, a 17-year-old girl with no philosophical, medical, or psychological training, to discover the truth. Lobotomy. You don't have to feel anything at all.
A 17-year-old girl just discovered wanting to turn off her feelings.
Basically.
It's novel.
You heard it here, folks. And a full frontal lobotomy probably costs no more than the average nose job. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah. No wonder I'm digressing. I don't feel like putting this into words. I'm a virgin. No. It's way worse than that. I wish it was only that. I've never had a boyfriend. True, but nope. That doesn't convey the depth of this particular humiliation. I've never kissed anybody. Okay, there you have it. Can you say loser? Let me try to soften this. Okay.
What? I stepped away for 1 second.
Can you, Jonathan, can you say loser?
Loser.
Gaia is a virgin loser.
She's never
That's what
kissed
I'm writing
anyone.
down.
She's a dweeb. She's just like
Yeah, but can she
all
drive?
I know. I wanted to write she's a virgin who can't
Well,
drive, but I don't know about that yet.
okay,
Probably
bigger-
not. She lives in New York.
Sure, yeah.
I'm about to say, bigger question. She's in New York City. Why does she need to drive?
Yeah. Well, it's a clueless joke.
See, I'm just. Anyways, can you say loser? Let me try to soften this information with an excuse or two. When I was 12, I had something approaching a boyfriend, in a pre-boyfriend kind of way. Is it so like a situationship? I guess they did. I guess they didn't have that. I guess they didn't have that kind of.
Situationship.
Well, I guess they didn't have that. They didn't have that language back then. They didn't have these definitions that we do, like orbiting and situationship. Anyway,
Orbiting?
What's
Yes,
orbiting?
Never heard of that.
orbiting is like when someone likes you and they will interact with like your posts and like kind of like just barely let you know that
Like on the
they're still
fringes?
there. Yes, they're like a satellite orbiting the planet.
Yeah. So like I'm gonna be as indirect as possible.
Correct.
Cool.
And just it's great stuff. His name was Steven. And he lived around the corner. That sounds dangerous.
Good for
Don't.
Steven.
Yeah.
He he was the one with the right kind of hair, light brown, straight, no cowlicks. The right.
That's the correct kind of
That's
hair.
the right kind.
That's it.
That's the right kind.
Got the right.
What more
kind
could
of
you
hair.
ask for?
I really want to know if this.
Close. I'm
I was-
close
I
to
was
the
just-
right kind of
I
hair.
was
but
just
my
gonna say,
cowlicks
like,
are
does this?
insane.
Yeah, does this
I
describe
just
any of us?
I needed to look it up again. I know I do this every single episode
Yeah.
because I never remember. But this book came out in 1999.
Right.
Okay.
I also wanted
So
to.
1994, she would have been 12.
Okay.
The peak of human civilization, 1999.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had this thought earlier and I didn't want to interrupt, but longtime listeners might remember. I don't remember if it was the first or the second Sweet Valley book that we read, but we did a Batman voice for Elizabeth for the entire book.
Yes.
And it was horrible. And I just think it's funny because, like,
She's the closest to
she's
Batman
the-
we've got.
She's the closest thing to Batman.
I don't even know why we did Batman for Elizabeth.
I don't either. I really don't. I don't remember why that happened, but she should be Batman. But again,
I think it was just her saying Rachel a lot.
that's...
Rachel.
Wait, who's
Rachel.
Rachel, though?
Rachel.
originally?
I don't remember Rachel.
Was there a Rachel?
I don't fucking remember.
There's a Lila and a not Edith. What is
Enid.
it? Enid.
Enid, yeah. I don't know. If anyone's Batman, it's Gaia, but we are never doing the Batman voice
Yeah.
again because it's too hard to do.
But if she says like "I am the knight" or something, you
yeah.
have to make
You
some
have to.
exceptions.
Is she okay? Here's what
If there's a Rachel,
I am justice.
maybe
Yeah, like,
this is
what is
we'll
our
do.
Batman protocol?
Here's what we'll do. She'll be Batman when she's fighting crime.
oh yeah,
Because
she's
just like Bruce Wayne,
or like baiting crime.
yeah, like when she's regular Gaia,
Yeah,
she sounds like
yeah.
Gaia. But when she's like out on the streets at night trying to get Nazis to hit her with a razor blade,
Hit
Yeah.
Hit her.
her / kill her.
that's
Well,
when she talks like Batman,
Amending my note: Gaia is a virgin loser, but also Batman.
but also Batman.
I accidentally wrote Batman.
She's a virgin
plural
loser
Batman.
with like I don't know, like a budding BDSM sort of like please like hit me blades. It's like damn girl, like oof.
Batman's also kind of a virgin loser. He never dates it. I mean, okay, I don't know enough about Batman.
Michael
least-
Keaton. Michael Keaton's Batman is not a virgin loser.
Michael Keaton does fuck.
Even Val
Yeah,
Kilmer.
he gets laid and then hangs in his weird hang upside down thing. Or do you not remember that weird fucking scene from the Burton movie?
I think I'm just thinking
It's
of Christian
I'm just
Bale.
and he's in it, his arms are crossed, and he's just like swinging.
Robert Pattinson seemed
He's
kind
the
of
bat.
emo, but
Yeah, but he's still
He hasn't
Made out
gotten
with,
to the billionaire
Zoe Kravitz.
playboy persona yet.
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I take it back. Christian Bale's Batman is a virgin loser.
Gotcha. Well,
He doesn't like have sex until the third movie. Michael Keaton fucks immediately.
Yes.
And then Alfred's like, I showed her your back game without your permission.
He was just so proud of him.
He was. Okay, what am I reading? Okay.
it's the right kind of hair.
He was the one with the right kind of hair, light brown, straight, no cowlicks. Almost Chris. I'm so sorry. The right kind of bike.
Well,
Specialized, like you care.
Yeah, it's got like pegs. It's got like it's like a Huffy.
It's got,
This is 1999. Like bikes were
Yeah.
everywhere.
It's got No, this is 94.
Yeah.
This is when they were 12.
The 90s.
Yeah.
I'm just generalizing.
So okay, the right kind of bike was definitely like neon yellow, and like everything was neon in the early 90s.
There's some bleed
Not
through
in 90.
the
Not
early
when you were
90s.
12 in 94.
Really? You weren't into like neon shit?
Early
I don't know,
90s.
my bike
it
was blue. I didn't have a lot of options.
Kind of everywhere.
Early 90s, it was like bike frames spray painted matte black.
I don't remember that.
I had a nice like shiny blue one.
I didn't have a bike because I wasn't allowed to ride one. 'Cause my brother
me
got
and
hit
my
by a
sister
car.
had like one bike that we shared, and it was dark blue,
Which
and
brother?
it probably was like a hand-me-down from our neighbor or something.
Yeah. My brother Anthony.
Oh, I don't care then.
He got his answer. He doesn't need a story.
Yep. The right kind of jeans, Gap, at the time.
Ah,
That's what it says.
not
Gap.
not
at the time.
Jinko.
I know, right? I
Or
would think
Levi,
Jinko.
Yeah.
Levi Pikes
They have
or
to
something.
specify, because if you said Gap in 1999, everyone would be like, oh, excuse me. His parents had the right kind of car, red Jeep, good stereo, and a very large
Red Jeep
pool.
is pretty cool.
Yeah.
For
Pool
the-
is great.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that makes you popular when you're a child. For these reasons, the popular girls sought him out. There you go. I liked him because he was secretly just as weird as me. We both played chess and knee football.
What the
What?
fuck is? Do you play like? Are you on your knees and you're
Just like scooting around on the ground like a dog.
kind of?
What
Kind
the
of.
absolute fuck is knee football?
I'm about to look it up. Sorry. You can
I
keep
reg-
reading.
I
but-
regret going off on such a tangent about everything I just did because all I want to do is talk about knee football, but I must go on. We connected. I'm sorry. Knee football really just ruined me.
Everything is just kneeling during the national anthem, kneeling, blah blah blah
Oh,
blah. It's like no,
boy.
I'm talking
Oh,
about talking about the
Knee
game.
football, 1994.
Oh no! Oh no! We concocted these elaborate fantasy games set in Camelot or a mile under the sea, long after imaginary games are socially acceptable.
I found it. Neat football.
Yeah.
The game of football played on your knees in a hallway at least 15 yards long.
Are you fucking
Line the
kidding me?
hallway with mats, pillows, etc.
I was just
So
gonna
none
say,
of the
that would
floor is
hurt.
exposed.
Okay.
Put 6 people on each team. Give
What?
one team the
6?
football in their end zone and blow a whistle. The team without the ball has to stop the other team from crossing. There's no downs. The game is one continuous down. Anything goes. Stripping the ball, forwards and backwards passes. You never stop the game until one scores. So
What
that
are
is-
these children up to?
Like when I was playing,
didn't have
like,
the internet,
We had
Chris.
we had the rope you jump over. We had the parachutes. We had
Yeah, parachute.
scooters.
Mhm.
We had, but no knee football. So I feel kind of
never heard of knee football.
left out as a child.
It sounds way more exhausting than regular football.
Well, I mean I feel that's the point, to get these children
Wear 'em
tired,
out.
And
wear them
certainly-
out.
Only something that you could do at age 12. Even
yeah.
no matter how much padding we put down in a
Oh my
hallway.
God,
if
that's
I got
so
on my knees right now to play
Yeah.
knee football, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm dying! Oh
As soon
I'd
as I
make
got
it
on my
10
knees,
feet
I'd
and
be like, "You win."
Yeah.
no!" We'd all just collapse on
Get
our
on your
respective
knees and then
sides,
fall to the side.
and the
And now
ball
we're
would
just laying on all these pads and
like-
pillows.
Yeah,
Just take a nap.
and that's how it would end, with us just lying in the pads, going, "Oh, this is kind of nice."
yeah.
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 So that's knee football.
Wow.
Oh boy. Okay. Concocted elaborate fantasy set in Camelot, Mile Under the Sea, long after imaginary games are socially acceptable. Age 4, roughly. This Kindle book is so fucked up because whatever AI translated shit, it thought an open parentheses was a C. So it says capital Cage 4. And it took me a second to figure out what the fuck this book was trying to
It's
tell
an
me.
acceptable cage 4.
You're not allowed to make up games after age 4?
No.
I really was a loser.
Well, I guess we're all going to jail.
We were nerdy enough to watch Bill Nye, the Science Guy, but cool enough not to admit that to anybody.
won't let
but
her
each
shame
other.
me.
Come on, everyone loves Bill Nye.
Everyone
Bill,
loves
anyone-
Bill Nye.
Bill.
Anyone a
Bill.
Beekman's World fan?
Oh,
yeah,
I remember
definitely.
Beekman's
Okay.
World. Yeah.
Okay.
It also turns out that Bill Nye's like a real dickhead.
No,
No.
don't tell me that, Chris. I can't take it. Not this year.
No.
One of them, don't
Wait.
you know who I am types.
Yeah, but don't you know who
Yeah,
he
but
is?
but
At
he
the
is
same
Bill Nye.
time,
He is Bill Nye.
His name rhymes with Science Guy.
He's got a song.
That's a fact.
He has a song where they chant his name.
Yeah.
Bill.
What, is
You'd be
Arsenio Hall
surprised.
just supposed to also not have an ego?
Did people chant his
I haven't
name?
heard
I think
anything
so.
terrible
Talking
about
about.
Arsenio yet.
Oh yeah, the ooh.
It's the dog pound.
I'm taking
only
so
a
long
matter of
getting through
time.
this page. I'm so
Can you
sorry.
get through your page so I can get through my page and I can get another drink?
Yes. Hold on. Wait just a second. That's what the book says. Why am I telling you all this? Am I really so desperate that I'll try to pass off a neighbor without underarm hair as some kind of romantic conquest? This represents a new low. What? But it points to something real.
That this was her only almost boyfriend situation.
Yeah.
At 12.
But it does point to something real,
Oh
which is that I'm stunted. My love life got left behind with the rest of my life the autumn after my 12th birthday. Eventually, when the moving van came, I told Stephen I hated him, just so as not to leave any threads dangling. Jesus fucking Christ,
She's
Gaia.
Just so as not to leave.
Kids aren't raised like this anymore. That's the problem.
My life ended then, but I keep growing.
Girl.
Was that when her parents got divorced?
I think it's just when she moved.
To be a op.
She just moved. I usually pride myself on the fact that I don't care about being a freak or a misfit. Chess misfit. I don't care what people think of me, but for some reason...
She just spent like 4 pages wallowing about being a virgin.
But
This
for some
is several pages leading up to her kissing Ed.
But for some reason, this kissing business, this lack of kissing business, bothers me. I can't pretend it doesn't. That's the very worst thing about it, really. How much it bothers me. How much I try to think about it. Girl, if you have no fear, kiss a boy. Who gives a shit? I'm going to be brutally honest right now, and hopefully
go.
afterward I can snap back into
Drop some truth
more
on us, Gaia.
comfortable state of denial. Ready? Okay. Of all the terrible things that have happened in my life, my mom, my dad, the life I lost, I'm such a vain, petty, and selfish person that I am most ashamed of the fact that nobody has ever kissed me. This thought drives me to more than the desire for a lobotomy. This drives me to something worse. Yo, Rapunzel. Forget the ladder. There's a faster way down. Oh my god.
Oh.
Bitch queen. Hell yeah.
How did Rapunzel get down? Because didn't they climb up the hair?
He climbed... Wait.
I don't remember.
Yeah, she
Like,
let down her hair.
Yeah, so he can climb up
So he
and
can
visit
climb
her. But
up.
I guess it was probably a ladder. Yeah.
I think she just stayed there.
Oh, okay.
Was it Grimm's?
Yeah, probably.
Then it was probably tragic.
probably
They probably
died.
cut her hair off and she died up there.
Probably.
Gotcha.
Do you think she
gotcha.
hooked her hair on something first so that when the guy was climbing, she wasn't like, ow, fuck, ow?
No,
shit."
again, it goes back to the BDSM sort of conversation.
Ah, there you go. Thank you.
All women are secretly into BDSM. Every one of them. Bitch queen. 10 years from now, Heather's awfulness would have caught up with her, and she'd be a disgruntled wretch pining for her glory days. That's hilarious. Because
Cannot-
that sounds like some people that we all know. I'm not even
cannot
talking about
wait to
anyone in
see
general.
Yeah.
Where
Just
this shows up in the
to
chapter.
be clear.
Why isn't this like underlined? You know?
I know. Well, fucking
Right?
highlight this shit.
Can you guys underline it? Be
doing it.
the change.
Highlight that shit.
Yeah.
Bitch queen.
This chapter's called So Sweet You'll Puke. I started thinking / not drinking was better for me / so it got me thinking. Hold on, I'm reading the slashes just because I saw them, but I don't know what is fucking happening.
Is it like trying to be
It's
like a rhyme
poem
scheme?
Oh,
or like a
I think
limerick?
it's a song. Wait. I started thinking not drinking was better for me, so it got me to thinking about getting a lobotomy.
There's the rhyme.
What did she just say? Gaia was sitting behind a very large, very expensive mug of coffee, across from Ed and squinting at the band that was playing in the far corner. Gaia was happy to ignore them. She'd seen plenty of unplugged garage bands in her day. But these weird snippets of songs kept floating into her consciousness and sticking there the way raspberry seeds stuck in her molars.
I can relate. I understand.
Those are bad. Those are bad.
It's if you want to torture someone, just feed them that, and that's and nothing else. And you're just like, ah.
Huh? Ed asked. That singer, did you hear the words? Gaia asked. Ed strained to listen over the clink of spoons and the hissing of the cappuccino machine. Something about a lobotomy. You're joking, Gaia declared. Ed gave her a puzzled look. If so, it wasn't a very funny joke. No, I mean, she didn't actually say lobotomy. Okay, she didn't, Ed shrugged. Why does it matter? Sorry.
Worst date ever.
Gaia stirred her coffee. Never mind. She studied the singer. She looked a little like Ashley Judd before the makeup went on. I don't know what that looks like, but she's kind of pretty, so that's not really a problem, I don't think. An East Village version, anyway, with a wool stocking cap, hair so messy it was coagulating into dreads, and a tattoo of a spider that perched on her collarbone. Gaia fidgeted in her chair. She didn't want to leave.
I'd smoke with her.
Sounds awesome.
Gaia fidgeted in her chair. She didn't want to leave too much silence because Ed might bring up what happened last night, and she really didn't want him to. You know what the problem is with these fancy brown sugar packets?
Dude,
Gaia held one up. The granules are too big. They don't dissolve. They just hang around the bottom of your mug so your coffee isn't as sweet as you want it to be. And so you get to the last sip, which is so sweet you want to puke. You know what? That's fair, though. The raw sugar.
Never been kissed, you say?
And there's the line. All right. Ed looked both puzzled and slightly amused. Oh, hadn't thought of that. He gestured at the counter. They have regular sugar up there. Gaia nodded. Why had she gone for coffee after school with Ed? Because he'd asked her, mainly. Because he'd tried to save her life, even though she'd ended up saving his. She should have remembered before she'd accepted that going for coffee with someone usually meant talking to them.
Oh my God.
Ed was looking at her a little too meaningfully. He stretched his arms out in front of him. Listen, Gaia, I just wanted to tell you that I don't want to talk about it, Gaia jumped in quickly. Sorry? I don't want to talk about it. What is it? Now he really was going to think she was a wacko. It. Anything. You don't want to talk about anything? Ed asked carefully.
The Crispin Glover from Back to the Future voice is almost too good for this character.
Yeah. Gaia tugged at her hair awkwardly. I don't want to talk about last night. I don't want you to ask me any questions. Ed nodded and digested that for a minute. Hey, Gaia. Yeah? I'll make you a promise. That sounds heavy. Ed laughed. Just listen, okay? Okay. I promise I won't ever ask you any questions, alright? Gaia laughed too. Ha! I think that was a question.
Oh, I think that was a question. Fine, so it was the last one. Fine. Gaia was starting to sense too much friendliness in the air, so she stood up. I'm going to, get that regular sugar. I'll be right back. Good. Okay. She walked to the counter with her mug. This was so cozy and normal.
She wasn't born with the conversation gene either.
She wasn't born with the Riz gene.
Hey, maybe she's just over small. She might be just over small talk and just wants to talk, more philosophical stuff. I don't know. She seems like, a very. Actually, I don't know. She's trying to bait people into fighting her, so I don't even know where her mind's at.
It's good that in this podcast of old books, we stay with the times.
Mm-hmm. We have to keep it hit for the kids now that are listening to this on YouTube.
She walked to the counter with her mug. This was so cozy and normal seeming, she felt as if she was inhabiting someone else's body. Absently, she dumped 2 packets of white sugar into her coffee. Oh yes, she was just a happy girl in the West Village, having coffee with her friend. A troop of familiar-looking people streamed in. They were from school, she realized. The self-designated beautiful people. There were 3 girls and 2 guys. Yeah, like the crowd,
Yeah. I just like them walking around going like, we're beautiful.
Maybe they just really love Marilyn Manson.
That's...
you know, if you've ever seen the show The Oblongs, they're like the people who live on the hill, and you know they are not. Something Will Ferrell. There were
cut.
three girls. Three girls and two guys, and they were laughing about something. Their manner and wardrobe screamed, "Put me in a Banana Republic ad right now." Hey, Banana Republic is good and affordable. I will say it. Just have to put it out there. At least now, like maybe Banana Republic and the Gap are just like, oh my God, you shop at Gap?
Yeah.
One girl in particular was quite beautiful, with long, shiny dark hair, slouchy chinos, and a collared shirt that was whiter and crisper than anything Gaia had ever owned.
Important to know.
So I guess she doesn't use a lot of bleach. Much as she wanted to dismiss them as
All of Gaia's clothes are covered in someone else's blood.
kind of dirts from the city streets, maybe grease from the wheelchair. Much as she wanted to dismiss them as they were swarmed around her at the counter, ordering various combinations of lattes, olays, con leches. Thank you, former
olays and
baristas.
con leches are the same thing.
Interesting.
And lattes, basically.
Is there
Everything just means with milk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Really?
All
of
that
those?
shit basically just means with milk, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And mochas in pretentious Italian sizes. Excuse me. Guy couldn't help imagining some alternate universe where she was one of them. What if she were witty and well-dressed and carefree? What if her biggest dilemma in life were whether to order a grande latte or a magnifico mocha? What if that fairly cute one... that does sound pretty good. The boy in the beat-up suede jacket called her all the time. She studied his dark hair, so pleasantly dilapidated... Sorry, is that dilapidated?
Sure.
And his hazel eyes. Interesting. So pleasantly dilapidated.
His hair was just like that rundown house.
Kind of. It's just like, whatever. She allowed herself a look at his lips. What if he'd kiss her? Not just once, but hundreds of
Oh
times.
my God,
What
Gaia.
if she killed someone and he kissed her for it?
Not once, but hundreds of times.
That's the dream.
She felt a weird tingling in her lower extremities as
Jesus.
the fantasy evolved in her mind. He'd be standing next to her, studying the coffee. Bored, as familiar to her as a brother.
Gross.
And he'd reach for her without thinking about it.
Just like a brother.
Just
Gaia.
like a brother.
I can't wait to read the rest of this.
Yay!
She'd be wearing a cute little lavender sweater set and crisp khakis instead of these oversized drawstring army pants and her faded blue football tee. He'd loop an arm around her hips and draw her a little closer and order something she knew he'd order because he always ordered it. Then he'd order for her too, not because he was an asinine pig, but because he knew she loved hazelnut mochaccino, even though it did cost $6. Then he
99 money?
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
$40 now.
Like I can get probably that for a small for probably about $6, $7. Like, but
Hazelnut mocha's so good, though.
while you're reading, I'm doing a conversion.
I don't know. I didn't like the hazelnut syrup.
Well, this is 1999. You said.
Mm-hmm. 99.
No, we only do hyperbole. We don't do actual inflation rates.
Yes, we do. We do actual inflation rates all the time.
After we look it up,
Actually,
not
I
in
do
our
want to
head,
know.
like some sort of computer person.
And then he'd pay, even though she'd tell him not to. And she'd say something so funny and adorable that he'd look at her, really look at her, and remember how beautiful she was and how much he loved her. Then he'd lean-
$11.44.
I was gonna say, but I wasn't gonna interrupt. Just saying,
I'm happy
I
to
had
interrupt
the
him,
answer.
Zach, I appreciate you Googling that. Don't ever let Chris shame you for Googling a factoid during this podcast.
No. It's like double. So it's like, geez, it's like double the
That's
amount.
crazy.
That's
fucked
almost
up.
literally double.
Ugh, we live in a hellscape.
And in high school too. That's like, it's
Yeah.
$12
that's
in
so
high
much
school.
money. But also, like, you didn't have anything else to spend it on.
And
Yeah,
and
well,
these
you
kids
did
are
like
also
$1
in.
Slurpee.
Yeah, I had
I wasn't
like
going to
candy and
Starbucks.
stuff.
Oh.
But also, I didn't live in
Well,
New York City too.
I was
so.
going to
Yeah,
Starbucks,
that's true.
but Patrick worked at Starbucks, so I got
In
all my drinks for free.
1999, I was in middle school. I was not going to Starbucks.
Yeah, no.
I guess you're the
I was
oldest.
a freshman in high school.
Oh
Going to
wow.
Starbucks?
I was going to Starbucks and waiting to.
I hadn't heard of Starbucks
being excited to see the Phantom
until
Menace.
I was like 17.
Oh.
I never heard of it.
Oh God. I'm old. Then what's happening? And then he'd lean toward her and kiss her on the mouth. No tongue or anything. That would be tacky in the middle of a cafe. His kiss wouldn't be long or filled with questions or expectations because he could kiss her anytime he wanted and he didn't have anything to prove.
I hope this thought is all happening in real time while she's staring at his lips.
Me too. Because it's taking a long time to get through this
Yes.
thought.
And Ed's just like looking at her as she's just like silently just
Yeah,
like,
I
it's
thought
like
she was gonna get sugar.
it's like
She really doesn't like me. It would be soft and real and simple, yet mean 1,000 loving things. She would kiss him back, but not in a way that was desperate or inexperienced. And then, Gaia suddenly realized that the boy she was kissing in her mind's eye had transformed. Gone were the dark hair and suede jacket replaced by ginger-colored hair that curled around his temples and a preppy gray twill jacket with a corduroy collar.
Gross.
And then she realized that this person who'd barged right into her fantasy was none other than him, the guy from the park, the guy who'd wandered by the chess tables. How did he get here? She demanded of herself stridently. Who invited him? I
Wait,
think that was the John Travolta guy.
Is he in the cafe or in her
mind's
imagination?
eye.
Okay.
In her fantasy of kissing Suede Jacket
Okay.
Boy, suddenly
I thought she was just like
Yeah.
just spaced out into the middle distance and this guy walked up and she was just staring.
I think she
No,
is spaced out
I
to the
think
middle
she's
distance.
but
she's
he
in-
was an intrusive
But
thought.
in her daydream, yeah.
Gaia? I don't know who's saying that. She was so startled and
Probably
unnerved that she forgot she even had hands.
It happens.
All the time.
It happens. It happens.
I just thought they were stumps.
Whoa.
Ugh! She forgot she had hands, let alone a steaming mug of coffee in one of them. Oh God, Gaia. In horror, she watched the mug sail from her grasp.
What, did she just throw it? in
And the
panic?
brown, sugary stuff leap out of it and land all over the front of that very white, very crisp shirt of her alternate universe best girlfriend.
Oh my goodness.
Dang.
Dang, Gaia. At least you won't be afraid.
Just humiliated. What she said was worse while you were in the other room.
Oh, okay.
Having a sneezing fit or whatever the fuck you did.
My nose blew up. Sorry.
The girl screamed. Oh shit, Gaia muttered. Suddenly everybody burst into motion. The fairly cute boy, I like that he's still only fairly
cute, yeah.
was grabbing up napkins. The girls were buzzing all over their friend. The other boy was plucking pieces of mug from the mess on the floor.
I guess what she
Pieces
really
of mug.
doesn't fear is settling for less.
That's true. She's got high standards. She's never getting kissed. Of course, Gaia knew the right thing to do was apologize a lot, hand the girl a few napkins, make a self-deprecating remark, and offer to get her shirt dry cleaned. But for some reason, Gaia did none of those things. She just stood there gaping like a complete moron. The offended girl turned on her with narrowed eyes. "Excuse me, but you just poured boiling coffee down my shirt." Gaia, coffee began. My brain combined Gaia and coffee.
Coffee.
What the hell is your problem? Are you some kind of idiot? Could you at least apologize? The girl didn't look so pretty anymore. I'm really... Hello, the girl demanded. English? Do you speak English?
Jesus.
Habla español?
my
This
God.
was apparently humorous to herself and her friends. Gaia really had been working up to a sincere and heartfelt apology, but this girl no longer deserved it. Bitch, Gaia said under her breath.
I
It
said,
was-
bitch.
I said,
Yes. It was completely the wrong thing to do, the worst thing to do, but Gaia had a talent for that. The ex-pretty girl stiffened. What? Did you just say what I think you said? Who the hell do you think you are?
No, I actually said cunt.
Yeah. Actually, I said racist bitch. Gaia turned away at this point. It was the only thing to do. Gaia heard the girl railing and threatening as she returned to the table, and a shell-shocked looking Ed. Gaia, can I ask you one question? Just one, and this is really the last. Ed didn't wait for her to respond. Do you get in fights everywhere you go?
Fair. Fair.
Are we still reading?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chapter title, There's This Girl. Marco, over here! Marco glanced around the Chinese restaurant casually, as if he hadn't noticed her the instant he'd walked through the door. Yeah, it was definitely a woman speaking at the beginning. Man, she was hot. She was wearing dark denim jeans today and a form-fitting pink sweater. Hey, how's it going? He said, treating her to his most charming smile and sitting down across from her. She returned his smile and for a moment laid her hand on top of his. Shwing. She was making him dizzy again. A waiter hustled by and dropped 2 menus. The place was still noisy, but the after-school crowds were clearing out. Marco checked his hair quickly in the mirror that coated the restaurant's side wall. He was glad he'd refused to shave his head like the other guys. He consulted the filthy laminated menu.
Do it.
Was he supposed to order something? In a restaurant? He suspected she hadn't asked him to meet her here because she was hungry. So, Marco, tell me how you've been. She was studying him intently and ignoring her menu. She leaned close. He felt a gentle foot on his. Yes, dizzy. Really dizzy. I've been pretty cool. He swallowed. What's been going on in the park? Shit. Was he supposed to be able to think when she was doing that with her foot? Not much, he said. A couple of my buddies got beat up last night. She looked more interested than concerned. Who did it? I'm not sure. Some real tough guys, I guess. Some guys who know how to fight. Now her foot was gone, and he really wanted it back. Why was I forced to read that?
Marco was into feet.
Kind of. You'll get them, she said confidently. He liked the way she said it, and the way she looked at him. He nodded real slow, the way his buddy Martin's older brother did.
What?
Bet your ass.
Nodded?
What?
It's just like,
Copied that guy's nod.
Yeah, you know, his,
I just like
his
that
buddy's
phrase.
older brother.
when you replay this, just make sure you just see how slow this nod is. Just
The phrase, the way his buddy
So
Martin's
slow.
older brother did.
Bet your ass, he said. I need to ask you something, she said. Where was her foot? Had he done something wrong?
Oh my god.
Yeah. There's this girl, a friend of mine. She likes to hang out in the park. I know there's lots of stuff going on, you know, slashing and whatever. I heard about that, he said,
Slashing.
his look just as knowing as hers. I want to make sure nobody touches her, okay? She's a real sweetheart, and I don't want her getting hurt. The foot was back. Marco felt a dull buzz in his ear. Right, okay, you point her out to me in the park, and I'll take care of it. The restaurant was nearly empty now. The waiters were sitting at a round table at the very back, eating their own snack. Marco felt a hand on his knee under the table.
Why-
He had a
why was that so
stifle
funny?
a groan.
I don't know, because it sounds like they're sharing a bag of chips.
Eating
instead
their
of just,
own-
like,
Eating their own
some
snack.
food.
Single snack.
I brought this snack from home.
I brought the
Just
snack.
Some pretzel sticks in a Ziploc bag.
It's a single fruit roll up.
It's the container with like the cheese dip and like the pretzels. And,
Yeah.
So
Oh my
much
God.
gross.
yes. It's super gross. Marco felt a hand on his knee under the table. He had to stifle a groan. He leaned towards her and snaked his hand around the back of her neck. He kissed her hard, and she kissed him back. Her sweet smell combined with the heavy scent of fried wontons and cabbage. Her soft, blissful
hot.
tongue explored his while the brown formica table
Formica.
table jammed into his stomach. God, he wanted to do it right there. Suddenly, her tongue and her hands were gone, and she was standing. Come on, she gestured at the door. I know a place we can go.
Okay, so it's definitely not Gaia.
No.
She's never kissed anyone.
Yes.
And
She's
it's someone
Oh,
that doesn't
yeah.
want Gaia hurt, so it's probably one of the people that wrote one of them like emails.
L or LB.
Electronic mail, do you say?
They'll never catch on.
A digital letter?
By George.
By George.
This chapter is called Who's Heather? Ed saw her the following afternoon sitting at a chess table near the southwestern corner of the park, and his heart sped up a little. The late September
Wait,
breeze...
wasn't there something about a heather in what I read? But now I don't remember.
Oh, was there?
I thought so.
I don't remember.
It was like 5 minutes ago, and I don't remember.
In the coffee shop?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought the beginning of the chapter. The
Oh,
thing
you did.
I highlighted.
Oh, yeah, wait, what? Hang on. Wait, what? Bitch Queen. 10 years
it?
from now, Heather's awfulness
Oh,
would
yeah,
have caught
Heather.
up with her, and she'd be... That wasn't even in that chapter
I
that you
know,
read.
yeah.
What's happening? What's up
Four
with Heather?
foreshadowing. 8 shadowing, it's called.
Jesus Christ. 8 shadowing. Oh, Chris.
I'm just surprised you laughed at it.
Are you, though?
As I was saying it, I was like, oh boy, this might fall flat on his face.
I'm always here to lift you up.
I appreciate you.
Ed saw her the following afternoon, sitting at a chess table near the southwestern corner of the park. His heart sped up a little. The late September breeze was blowing her blonde hair out of its messy ponytail and around her face. She shed her rumpled jacket to reveal a sleeveless white t-shirt and lithe, sculpted shoulders. Her muscles were defined, but long and graceful. In the sunshine, he noticed a few freckles along the bridge of her nose. Her eyes looked less stormy gray and more Caribbean turquoise in this light. What?
You know how eyes change color.
You know, in this light, I have to say that
Hold
your
on,
eyes look a little less stormy gray and a little more Caribbean turquoise.
I completely missed the typo around face.
Oh, where?
Her blonde hair out of its messy ponytail and around her feces.
Feces. F-E-C-E. Feces.
Singular.
Singular shit.
A singular shit, you say?
Yes.
One turd.
Just
One
a-
single turd.
Just a hoodle of poop.
Is a hoodle one, or is a hoodle a bunch?
A hoodle's a little poop.
Okay. I guess, yeah, little poop.
That's not a
We-
word
if we
I've
had a
never
d-
heard, and I'm scared to Google it.
Her opponent at the chessboard
It was in my family's vernacular.
was
Okay.
okay. Her opponent at the
A little
chessboard
hoodle.
was a man in
Did
his
Chris take a little hoodle?
Not today, no.
Her opponent at the chessboard was a man in his 30s wearing a baseball cap and a pair of expensive sneakers and appearing to concentrate about 10 times harder than she was. She was wearing an expression he hadn't seen on her before, sort of wide-eyed and distracted. She gazed around. She examined her fingernails. She even appeared to giggle while losing a pawn. Was this actually Gaia? Ed's legs were for crap.
We're for crap?
They were for crop.
Jesus Christ. I don't want there to be any more wheelchair people in books. It's fucking horrific how they write people.
He was as lame as
Don't make
Lame
me
can
read
be.
that, Francine.
Wow.
Jesus.
his legs were worth shit. He was garbage. You might as well
They're
cut
just
them
not
off.
allowed to do this again.
No.
Yeah, I can't speak on Magic Tree House's depiction of
God, I
people in
swear to God,
wheelchairs.
there's wheelchaired people in that.
Well, does the treehouse have a ramp?
No, it is not ADA
It's very it's
compliant.
not accessible.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not a
It's not up to code.
it's not,
Not
a
re-
it's not a bush house or a
I'm not
tiny.
reading that again. But his eyes were excellent. It was definitely Gaia. Either that or her ditzy twin sister. He watched in surprise as she
That's
lost.
the other book.
Yeah.
Same
Oh,
author.
Shit!
But that's the other book.
What if there's a cameo?
Blonde hair and
What
blue
if-
eyes. Wait, what if this is Elizabeth or Jessica?
Fuck right off. If a Wakefield shows up in this book, I will shit a hoodle.
I bet Jessica would show up and do this shit in New York for like a summer.
Definitely. God damn it. Don't get me
Maybe
excited
she's
like
a
that.
cousin.
Her opponent was looking pretty pleased with himself. He was also allowing his eyes a few breaks from the board to gawk at Gaia. Pervert, Ed thought irritably.
She's how old?
17.
Oh, 17?
Mm-hmm.
So a 30-year-old. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, no, Ed's.
No.
Ed
The
is-
guy
No,
that
no,
he's
no.
playing
The
against.
chess
The
opponent.
guy
Oh, okay.
he was
30.
allowing his eyes, the 30-year-old guy from the chessboard to
Yeah.
30-year-old eyes.
the chessboard to the chessboard.
Oh!
Sorry.
That
Gaia-
should be the title of one of these chapters.
From chessboard
the
to chessboard.
to the chessboard.
Gaia lost another pawn. She might be able to take Bruce Lee in a fight, but she sure sucked at chess. She giggled again. It was a weird sound, like a parakeet mooing or something. What was up with her? Gaia's opponent snatched up her rook, and suddenly her manner changed. She focused, with a slight frown on the board, started making moves rapidly. The man was smiling at her when she looked up from the board again.
I don't want to read about chess. I'm already so bored with it. He looked so patronizing and full of
You're already so
himself.
bored.
Stop it! That Ed suspected he was about to ask her out. He hoped Gaia would break his jaw. Instead, she said, "Checkmate," in a matter-of-fact way. Ed read her lips more than actually heard her say it. Ed watched with blossoming pleasure as the man's face fell and his mouth snapped shut. He looked confused, then a bit suspicious, then downright sour as he pulled out his wallet and handed over a 20. As he walked away with his New York Times tucked under his arm, how much is $20? Zach, can you get on this?
I got
How
you.
much
40.
was $20? Okay, yeah, probably, but still.
I will interrupt you.
It'll be good to confirm.
It's
Thank you.
it's 37.89.
Oh,
So
wow.
again, it's almost double. So
Yeah.
we can basically say 1999 money is almost double what it is
Yeah.
today.
That's fair
That's
and
fucked
horrifying.
Up. That's awful,
That's
and I
really
hate
horrifying.
everything.
As he walked away with his New York Times tucked under his arm, his overly youthful baseball cap looked even more absurd. Maybe he was in his 40s. He
Even
aged by being
gross.
By
beaten in
being
chess.
sour, yeah.
He aged 10 years.
He frowned, and he's like, "That guy looks
Go,
like Jonathan."
Gaia, Ed said, wheeling over. She turned toward his voice, her eyebrows connecting over angry eyes. Connecting over has a hyphen in between it. Like, that's a phrase. Connecting over.
Connecting over. Okay.
What, are you spying on me? No, I'm strolling through the park and stopping to say hi to a friend, he countered.
It's weird no one's ever kissed you.
Yeah. A paranoid friend. He was basically spying, but she didn't need to know that. I'm sure she couldn't fucking figure it out. Her fierce eyes relented a bit. Oh. I see you discovered how to play chess right there in the middle of the game. Wow. She cocked her head and almost smiled. Gee, yeah, lucky timing, huh?
Not to be a dick about this, but like, isn't the whole fucking point of like playing chess in Central Park that everyone watches you? Why she like,
Yeah.
Are you spying on me? Like, you're playing chess outdoors.
She's crazy.
People watch
and
that.
everyone's pool sharking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretending they're bad until they win.
Yeah.
Well, she's very paranoid and
No, she.
she doesn't know how to be close to people. And you made $20 to boot, Ed added. Poor bastard didn't know what hit him. So you were spying, Gaia accused, but she didn't look mad anymore. Maybe a little, he admitted. She sighed. You know, Ed, if you learn any more of my secrets, I really will have to kill you. I hope it's not foreshadowing like a later book where she kills
Like
him.
she kills him, yeah.
She's just said it too many times at this point.
She'd be like, "I told you I'd have to kill you."
Yeah.
You'd be like, "Oh, she killed
You
him."
remember that time at the chess match and when we fought the Nazis? She stood and slung her weather-beaten messenger bag over her shoulder. He shrugged. Okay, I guess. She started walking toward Washington Place, and he followed her.
But before you do, he continued, I was wondering, will you go to a party with me
Oh my god.
tonight?
Bro, who's inviting you to a party?
She stopped and turned on him, her eyebrows drawing together again. Are you joking? Of course not. Since his accident, Ed had become a near-professional button pusher, but nobody's buttons gave him quite the thrill that Gaia's did. Most people pretended to be civil for far too long. Gaia got spitting mad right away.
Mad pushing buttons, inviting her to a party?
Right? She does react very weirdly to things.
Yeah.
Well,
How dare you?
Come on. It's a school party. Allison Rovitz is having it.
Allison Rovitz?
Heather's friend? And then the question we're all asking. Who's Heather? She was walking again, rubbing it in his face. The girl you, met over coffee yesterday.
Oh no!
Ed
Why
said,
would you go
quickly
to that?
catching up with her.
Right?
Gaia shook her head in disbelief. Boy, you sure do make it sound tempting. Ed nodded. It might be fun. Besides, it would be good for you to meet some people, he suggested brightly. Gaia stopped short and glanced around her. What is going on here? Are the cameras rolling? Are we secretly starring in an after-school special? Wheelchair boy befriends angry orphan girl?
I'd watch. It's a solid show. Good ratings.
Oh, shit.
Ed laughed genuinely.
Like me.
I'm just going to now. I've ad-libbed none of that.
Oh my god!
Oh, man.
So I'll meet you there at 9? I'll leave the address on your answering machine. No, Gaia
The
almost
olden
shouted.
days.
Yeah.
Why not? Ed persisted. You don't have anything else to do. Yes, I do, she shot back. Like what? Ed demanded. She was silent for a few seconds. Okay, I don't. Gaia glared at him. Rub it in. Ed loved the way she pressed her lips together. He loved the way she stood with one hip stuck out, like ladies do. He tried not to be obvious when he had admired the way her hair fell perfectly, framing her face in stunning eyes, no matter how hard the wind tore at it. He had heard of this mythic species, beautiful girls who were not conscious of the fact they were beautiful. I'm so upset I had to read that sentence.
Did she let a man write this part?
Right? Question for the group. Do we want to do one more chapter or end it here? All right.
I would like to end.
Take us home, Zach.
He'd seen them represented in movies and on TV unconvincingly for the most part. He had read about them in book, but he'd never actually met one in person until Gaia. I've never met a girl before until now. I know why you won't go, Ed said suddenly. Gaia's patience was waning. Why? Because Heather's going to be there. You're scared of Heather, Ed stated confidently. Gaia put her hands on her hips. She looked like she really did want to kill him. Ed, I am not scared of Heather. Trust me, because she can't be scared.
Because she can't be scared. Ba, 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 ba.
Oh my god, how is this book real?
I don't know, but I love it.
Oh man, it's a real shame that pilot didn't take flight.
I know.
I mean,
wanna
if they
say-
made it into an animated series, I'd give it a shot.
I need to. I keep forgetting. I need to look up and see if that pilot's like on YouTube or something.
Well, yeah, we should.
Yeah.
But also, the pilot was like set in the future, kind of, where she's
right,
in
she's,
the
like,
CIA or
at the
something, and
CIA.
she's in her 20s. So it's not
It's
like
not
this weird
faithful.
teenage shit.
That's
It's
probably
like-
why it wasn't picked up.
Yeah.
It'd be way more fun
You know how weird it would be
if it was.
playing chess and fighting Nazis,
Yeah. Oh my god.
being a virgin.
But Rachel Lee Cook was probably already like 30 at that point.
Yeah.
And
She's still playing teenagers.
I cannot see Rachel Lee Cook playing this version of Gaia.
How come?
She's not tough enough.
Oh. Yeah.
She's like a little sweetie pie.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like
But wait, hang
someone
on. But
that's
what
like
about that
Carlac.
commercial with the whole? This is like with
Yeah,
the,
it was like a little sweetie pie smashing stuff around for a minute. She can't be Gaia
little sweetie
beating
pie.
up Nazis.
She was all like, "This is what your family
Yeah.
looks like. This is what your fucking
You need
fuck you with your drugs. Fuck."
you
That was
need
what
a
that commercial was like.
17-year-old Uma Thurman and from Kill Bill, fucking just.
What's her fucking name?
Maya Hawke.
No.
Oh, I was like Uma
What?
Thurman.
No. From 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, Julia Stiles.
Julia Stiles.
Julia Stiles.
Julia Stiles.
Okay, Julia Stiles could do this.
Yeah.
That was
sure.
probably like their first pick.
Yeah.
but then she probably refused.
She has standards.
Standards, this is awesome. Zach, what did you think about Fearless?
I'm very curious of how the party is gonna go. You know, I'm almost hooked, and I
Almost.
and feel more knowledgeable knowing about knee football. So I was enlightened by this wonderful piece of literature.
You learned something.
That was something we all learned.
Which you should learn at least one thing every day.
Yeah. See, this is why it's important to read books.
And that's gonna.
The more you know. Oh, shit. Zach, thank you for being on our very silly podcast. Is there anything you would like listeners to know? Anything you want to plug?
No, not really. Thank you for inviting me. I hope to be on again. But yeah, Magic Treehouse. Check it out. And yeah, read Camp Jelly Jam and send me a text or something just to let me know like I can't. Maybe this is just like me being super nostalgic, but like the story has like, I don't know, for whatever reason kept with me. So it's rad.
And
you'd be like,
amazing.
what the fuck?
I can't wait to read it.
That does sound amazing.
I think you're a perfect first guest for when we start that.
Oh, for 100%. Yeah. I don't know when, but that does feel like it should be our next Goosebumps book when we get back to Goosebumps.
Cool.
You can follow Below Grade Level on TikTok and Instagram, and you can follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook, and you can subscribe to Below Grade Level wherever you find podcasts. Chris, what you got?
I would like to plug The Sketchy Show, which is another podcast that me and Jonathan, sometimes Bekah, and returning champion John Walker, who usually closes out our books on this show, do, where we improvise sketches, and then Jonathan edits them into magic or chaos.
And they're
it's
good.
Really a crapshoot.
I was on one, so it was
Zach
fun.
was on
and,
one.
and Zach was on
That
one.
might have been my favorite sketch.
That might
And
have
I
been
don't
my
listen
favorite
to all
sketch.
of them, sorry.
No.
You play a lot for me.
Yeah.
And that sketch was so fucking good.
That sketch was
so
so long
good.
we just made it the entire episode.
Yeah.
And that was one of the rare times I was like, Bekah, you should, because Bekah doesn't like to listen to all of them because
I don't always love sketch comedy in general.
It's fine, and I am the first one to realize that a lot of them are pretty self-indulgent. But but that was one of those ones where I was like, I want you to listen to this entire episode.
It was so good.
And it was fucking incredible, and Zach was really funny in it. If you're looking for it, look up The Sketchy Show and look up for the episode that I believe is called a post-apocalyptic radio call-in show or something along those lines. It's a post-apocalyptic.
It's wherever you get your podcasts.
Wherever you get podcasts. Yeah. Well, let's find out what happens next time as we continue reading Fearless. Will Gaia kiss a boy?
I hope not.
Or will she just beat the shit out of Nazis?
Will
I hope
will other guy get more foot? We'll see.
Yeah.
Will Marco get foot?
Who's footing Marco?
Yeah. Who's
What?
that redhead guy? Is he anything?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about him already. Oh, my God. All right. We'll find out what happens next time.
Who
Thank
are
you.
LNELJ?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna do next time that
You
happens.
should
I'm
edit
gonna
sound effects into the show.
I'll just take that from what I just did and pepper it back
while
in.
we were all talking.
Yeah,
about it.
it's gonna be perfect,
Sounds
seamless.
good.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next time. We love you. Bye.
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 Below Grade Level is a Cactus Radio production. You can contact us at podcast@cactusrodeo.com. Subscribe and follow on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, and follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more entertainment and updates.